I came back and all my stuff had been dumped in bags on the lawn. My mother said, "You're 20, stop pushing, grow up. The room belongs to father now, it's his man's corner." Then she added, "You still owe $3,000 for rent. Pay it by Friday or else it's court." I said, sustained, and left without a word. The next morning I handed over one envelope and blocked everyone. By lunchtime, uncle had gone to work, cousin was asleep with calls, and mother was screaming so much outside the house that the letter carrier called the police. Not sure if anyone's gonna read this and think, nah, no way this happened. But honestly, I don't care. I just need to get this out of my system. If you've got advice, go ahead. If you want to roast me, fine. But I'm not letting this slide. Not after what just went down. So, start of the week, everything seemed not great, but normal. I live with my parents. Yeah, I know I'm 21, judge me if you want. I've got 2 part-time jobs and I help cover stuff around the house. But it's always been a little tense here. My mom, Evelyn, she's always had this thing where one second she's chill, the next she's treating me like some squatter who won't leave her property. And my dad, Greg, he just goes with whatever Evelyn says unless it's about his vintage record collection or the backyard grill. Then he suddenly grows a backbone. Anyway, Monday morning, I come down for breakfast before my shift and Evelyn hits me with this line, "Still here? Huh? Like I'm a house guest who overstayed." Then later she's like, "Must be nice not paying rent." Totally unprovoked. I ignore it. Not my first time hearing that tone. She's been tossing these digs at me since I didn't move out at 18 like she did. Our dynamic's always been weird. To outsiders, we look like a tight family, holiday photos, fake smiles, group texts. But inside the house, it's tense. Like everything's one argument away from blowing up. Evelyn's obsessed with appearances. She's always bragging about my cousin Lexi who got her own place at 20. Or my uncle Reggie who can't go 10 minutes without humble bragging about his independent kids. Wednesday was the day everything changed. I got off work a little early and pulled into the driveway. First thing I notice? The TV's gone from the living room window. Like straight up vanished. I thought maybe Greg finally moved it to the garage like he kept saying he would. Weird, but not insane. Then I see these trash bags. Like 4 of them just dumped on the lawn. They're not the usual ones we put out on Thursdays. These are tied up in a hurry, sitting there like someone was in the middle of moving out. I walk closer, and one of them's ripped open a little. I see my old canvas backpack, the one I thought I lost, and a hoodie I haven't seen in months. I just stop, frozen. My brain's like, no way they did this. But yeah, they did. I open one of the bags and it's my stuff. Not just dirty clothes or old shoes. Like everything. My laptop charger. My sketchbooks. A couple crushed posters. Even my Nintendo Switch, just shoved between an old pair of sneakers and a crushed energy drink can. Nothing packed. Just thrown in. I look up at the house, and Evelyn is standing in the kitchen window, just watching me. Not saying anything. Just watching. When our eyes meet, she steps back and disappears from view. That silence hit harder than if she'd yelled at me. I go up to the door. It's unlocked. I step in and the first thing I notice is the hallway. It's empty. No jackets, no shoes. My stuff used to be here. Gone. I walk toward my room and hear voices. I get closer and the door's already wide open. Except, it's not my room anymore. There's a cheap wooden sign nailed to the door. Greg's Denver. I swear, it looked like something he got off Amazon. I push the door open and it's like some twisted joke. My bed's leaned up against the wall. My desk's gone. And Greg is inside setting up his golf bag and beer mini fridge like he's been planning this makeover for months. My posters, the ones that weren't in the trash bags, are crumpled in the corner. He looks up and goes, "Oh, you're back." Evelyn walks in behind him, arms folded, this smirk on her face. She says, "You're 21, Riley. It's time to move on. We need the space. And you owe us for the past year of free living." She hands me this envelope with my name on it like she's serving eviction papers. I open it, and it's a demand for $3,200 in back rent. She says if I don't pay by Friday, they're taking me to small claims court. I just stood there. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just stared, because I couldn't believe it. For context, I pay for my own gas, food, phone, and Wi-Fi. Yeah, the whole internet bill is under my name because Evelyn said it'd be easier if I handled it. I buy groceries all the time. I've never paid official rent, sure, but I've never freeloaded. I stayed because rent in this town is a joke and I'm working my ass off already. I told them I was saving to move out soon. They never listened. Evelyn thinks if she pushes me hard enough, I'll suddenly turn into some bootstrap success story she can brag about on Facebook. Like Lexi, like Reggie's kids. But that's never been me. I've always been the one she calls soft, lazy, whatever. Greg doesn't say a word. He just keeps moving in his crap like I'm not even standing there. Evelyn says, "You can take what's in the bags. That's it. Come back for anything else, we'll call the cops." Like I'm a stranger, not her son. I ask, when did you even decide this? She shrugs. We've been talking about it for months. You don't listen anyway. She's recording me on her phone at this point. I almost lose it. But I don't. I just leave. Outside, a couple neighbors are definitely watching. I see Lexi drive by in her new car, slow down, glance at me, and then just keep going. My phone buzzes. It's a text from her, "You okay?" I don't answer. I start loading the bags into my car. It's old, but I fixed it up myself. Not flashy, but it runs. Evelyn comes out just to stand there and watch. Doesn't say a word until I grab the last bag and try to close the trunk. It won't shut at first, so I slam it again. Finally latches. She walks up and holds out the envelope again, all smug. "Friday, Riley. Or court." I don't say anything. I just take it. Get in the car. Sit there. I wasn't gonna cry. But man, it burned. I just kept thinking, this can't be real. Who does this to their own kid? I check my phone. Missed calls from Evelyn. 2 from Greg. Another from Lexi. I ignore them all. I pull out of the driveway and see Greg in the window waving like he just pulled off some victory. I parked in some random lot that night and just sat there, bags in the back, feeling like a stray dog. No home. No plan. Just betrayal. I wasn't planning to make this a fight. But if they want to play it that way, fine. Game on. I didn't sleep that first night. I tried, believe me. But how do you sleep in your car with your whole life stuffed in the back seat? Every time I closed my eyes, I'd see Evelyn's face, smug as hell, waving that envelope like she was some landlord kicking out a deadbeat tenant. So I just sat there, refreshing apps on my phone, scrolling mindlessly. TikTok, Reddit, Instagram. Nothing helped. My brain wouldn't shut off. All I kept thinking was, how the hell did it come to this? The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. Evelyn's voice echoed in my head, "You'll never make it on your own. You're too soft. You don't know how the world works." Well, guess what, Mom? Maybe I don't. But I know how to check bank statements. At sunrise, I drove to the one coffee shop in town with reliable Wi-Fi. Ordered the cheapest thing on the menu, plugged in my phone, and got to work. If they wanted to come after me with some fake rent bill, then I was gonna hit back. And I wasn't going in blind. I opened my notes app and started making a list. Every bill I've paid since I turned 18. Every grocery run. Every time I ordered dinner because Evelyn didn't feel like cooking. The Wi-Fi plan entirely in my name. I even remembered the time they asked me to sign up for Hulu just for the trial and then never canceled. Still getting charged for that. I went through old emails, Venmo history texts. It all started lining up. Month after month, year after year, I was covering way more than they ever gave me credit for. At first, it felt petty. But then I saw the totals. Hundreds. Thousands. Add up the electric bill I'd been auto-paying for the last year? The Wi-Fi? The groceries? The Ubers I took when they borrowed my car? It was already more than the $3,200 they claimed I owed them. They made me feel like a leech. Like some parasite clinging to their generosity. But I was never freeloading. I was the one holding that house together behind the scenes. That's when I realized this wasn't just about money. It was about them flipping the script. Making me out to be the problem. The failure. The burden. But I wasn't playing that role anymore. So I did what Evelyn did. I made an invoice. I titled it Shared Household Contributions, Riley S. Yeah, I went full spreadsheet mode. Listed every recurring bill. Added dates. Amounts. Labeled everything clearly. I included notes like Wi-Fi plan in my name since 19 and electric bill paid from personal account. I even attached screenshots and bank statements, not full ones, just enough to prove I wasn't bluffing. It felt weirdly empowering. Like I was taking back the narrative. I printed the invoice out at the library, black and white, clean, no sarcasm or cursing. Just the facts. On the last page, I wrote, "This is the total amount I've contributed to this household over the last 3 years. I expect to be compensated accordingly. If no payment is received by Friday, I will be filing in small claims court." Riley. Sound familiar? Yeah, it was word for word modeled after Evelyn's little rent demand. I figured if we're gonna play legal games, might as well do it properly. That afternoon, I drove back to the house. I didn't knock. I didn't ring the bell. Just walked up, slid the envelope onto the porch, and walked away. My name in bold marker on the front. No message. No dramatic moment. Just business. By the time I got back to my car, I'd already blocked Evelyn, Greg, and Lexi on my phone. No contact. No responses. They weren't getting another chance to twist things. But of course, that didn't stop them from trying. First came the emails. Evelyn found my Gmail somehow and sent 3 messages in a row. Same copy-paste energy. "You're making a huge mistake. Pay what you owe or we're going to court. You're hurting the family." I archived them without reading past the first line. Then Lexi hit me up on Signal. She must have realized I blocked her everywhere else. She said I was making things worse and that Uncle Reggie wanted to talk. I didn't respond. I wasn't looking for reconciliation. I wanted accountability. The friend I was staying with, let's call him Josh, was cool about everything. He let me keep my bags in his garage, gave me a spot on the couch, and didn't ask questions. The first night I crashed there, he handed me a beer and said, "Dude, sounds like your mom's lost her mind." I laughed, but it didn't feel funny. That night, I combed through the trash bags again. I'd been too shaken before to really go through them. Now, with a clearer head, I realized even more of my stuff was missing. No laptop. Just the charger. My Switch? Gone. A couple of jackets, my headphones, even my sketch pad, the one I'd filled up over months, all missing. And somehow Evelyn had the audacity to claim I owed her money? I texted Lexi one last time. "Did you see any of my stuff? Like my laptop? My Switch?" She replied, "I'm not getting involved. Please don't drag me into this." Classic. At that point, I knew I wasn't getting my stuff back unless I went to court. So I started prepping. Every night after work, I was in the library or at the cafe, printing more receipts, organizing PDFs, creating a folder labeled Evidence. I made digital backups on Google Drive and saved hard copies in a binder. I wasn't leaving anything to chance. I wanted everything documented in case it got ugly. And let's be real. It was already getting ugly. Greg hadn't said anything directly to me, but I got a short, stiff email. "Return your house key immediately. Stop this nonsense." That was it. "No, are you okay? No, let's talk." Just that. I didn't reply. Instead, I added the price of the lost laptop to my invoice. Evelyn wanted to play this like she was the responsible parent laying down boundaries. She wasn't. She was trying to erase me from that house like I never mattered. Like all those years of effort of stepping up when she didn't never happened. But I remember. I remember paying for takeout when the fridge was empty. I remember buying cleaning supplies when we ran out because no one else did. I remember fixing Greg's old truck when it stalled in the driveway. And I remember how quickly they turned on me. They wanted me gone? Fine. But they don't get to pretend I didn't exist. They don't get to rewrite the story. I've got receipts. And now they've got an invoice. I thought dropping the invoice would be the end of it. Like, okay, they'll freak out a little, maybe gossip about me in the family chat, then let it go. I mean, I was expecting some drama, sure, but not this. Turns out I poked the hornet's nest. Within 24 hours, my phone was lighting up nonstop. Unknown numbers. Blocked voicemails. Relatives I hadn't heard from in years suddenly cared a lot about respect. Evelyn must have gone on a full PR tour. "You're hurting your mother. She's not sleeping. She's devastated." Right? So devastated she dumped my stuff in the yard and kept my laptop. Then Reggie, Uncle Loyalty himself, called me from a hidden number. He started off calm, all "let's talk like adults." I barely said a word before he snapped. Said I was embarrassing the family and killing Evelyn with stress. I told him straight up I have receipts. "You really want me to send those to the family group chat?" Click. I hung up before he could keep barking. That night, Josh, the friend I was staying with, came into the garage like, "Dude, some guy was just here asking for you." Bald, angry, pacing. Said his name was Reggie. I told him to keep the doors locked. I wasn't dealing with family goons showing up at someone else's house. The next day it got worse. Evelyn showed up. I was on the couch, headphones in, when Josh's mom called down, "Your mom is outside." And she's yelling at the mail carrier. By the time I stepped outside, she was already in full meltdown mode, waving her phone like she was live streaming. "You're a thief," she screamed. "You stole from us. I want my piece back." I stood still. Didn't raise my voice. "You want to take this to court?" I said. "Let's go. I've got everything backed up." She swung at me, missed, then turned and started yelling at the poor male woman again. Josh's mom came out and told her to leave, said she was making a scene. Evelyn started crying, ranting about sacrifices, guilt-tripping like it was an Olympic sport. I didn't say much. Just looked her dead in the eye and said, "If you come back here, I'll file a restraining order." She peeled out of the driveway, tires squealing like she was in a movie. Not 10 minutes later, 2 cops pulled up. Lights on, no sirens. They were calm, professional. Talked to the mail carrier, then to me. I showed them texts, the invoice, the emails. They said if she showed up again, I had a case, but unless she touched me, not much they could do. I'll take it. Later that night, Josh's mom pulled me aside and said, gently, that I'd need to start looking for a new place. She was nice about it, just overwhelmed. And I get it. No one wants family soap operas playing out on their front porch. As if that wasn't enough, Evelyn sent one last email before I blocked her. "If you don't stop harassing us, we're getting a lawyer. You'll regret this." Cool. Add it to the folder. Reggie started texting Lexi, who started messaging me, saying things like, "You're making things worse, why can't you just be the bigger person?" Because I was the bigger person. For years. And I'm done playing that role. Let them take me to court. Let them scream and block and spin stories. I've got facts. Screenshots. Receipts. And I'm not backing down. They thought I'd roll over. Not this time. I thought things had hit rock bottom when my mom showed up screaming at a mail carrier in front of my friend's house. Turns out that was just the pre-show. The next morning, my phone lit up with notifications. Missed calls. Messages. Emails. People I hadn't spoken to in years were suddenly in my business. Lexi. Reggie. Some cousin from Texas. Everyone either begging me to stop or threatening legal action. "She's not sleeping. You're tearing this family apart. We've spoken to a lawyer." I muted everything and tried to focus. But I could feel the pressure tightening like a noose. That day, Josh's mom finally sat me down. She was kind but firm. "Riley," she said, "I can't have all this drama around the house. I need you to start looking for another place." She wasn't wrong. I thanked her and promised to move out within a day or two. I loaded up my car again, still full of those same trash bags they'd thrown my life into, and started driving around aimlessly, texting people, hoping someone had space. That's when I got an email from Evelyn. Subject line, "Final warning." She said she'd spoken to a lawyer and that if I stepped foot on their property again or continued this harassment, she'd file for a restraining order. She also claimed she was keeping my laptop as collateral. I laughed. I responded with a PDF of all my receipts and a single line. "See you in court." Then I blocked her. For real this time. I wish I could say it ended there. But nope. That afternoon, I showed up at work and saw someone standing near my car. It was Reggie. Bald head, arms crossed, pacing like some angry school principal. "You need to end this," he said before I could even speak. "Your mother is falling apart because of you." I said calmly, "I'm not paying fake debt. I've got receipts. I've got records. Let them take me to court." He got in my face, poked my chest, called me a disgrace. I pushed his hand off and walked to my car. He kept yelling as I pulled away like that would change anything. When I got back to Josh's later, Evelyn's car was outside. Nope. I sat in my car and waited for her to leave. Josh told me she was pacing around, filming stuff, yelling at delivery drivers. Like full meltdown mode. Then came the last straw. Josh's mom got a phone call from Evelyn. She told her I was unwell, unstable, and might be on something. Trying to get me kicked out of the last place I had. I guess when guilt doesn't work, you go straight to defamation. That was it for me. I packed everything again. Reached out to a friend from high school who had moved out of town. He said I could crash on his floor for a few nights. It wasn't ideal, but it was something. Better than living out of my car. Before I left, I sent Evelyn and Greg one final email. Attached was the updated invoice. Every bill, every receipt. A note at the bottom. "You wanted to make this about money. Let's make it about money. Filing in small claims next week." I haven't heard directly from them since, but I saw Reggie post some vague Facebook rant about today's ungrateful youth. No names. He didn't need to name me, everyone knew. And honestly, I don't care. I'm done being the quiet one. I'm done being guilt and used. They wanted to play tough? Fine. Now they get to see what that actually looks like. They threw me out. They lied. They tried to break me. And I'm still standing. I've got nothing left to lose and receipts to prove it. Let's see how they do in court.